You are afraid of the dark, not because of ghosts, not because of monsters under the bed. Your fear is older than that, and far more specific. For most of human history, the dark meant something with claws was watching you, and for one terrifying stretch of your ancestors' past, that fear almost ended the entire human story before it began. Around 900,000 years ago, something happened to your ancestors that nearly erased them from existence. Geneticists Haipeng Li and Yi Xuanpan analyzed the DNA of thousands of living humans, tracing our genetic history backward like rings in a tree. What they found was staggering. The global population of early human ancestors collapsed to roughly 1,280 breeding individuals. Not 1,280 tribes, 1,280 people total, holding the entire future of humanity in their hands. This population crash lasted for nearly 117,000 years. Why does that number matter so much? Today, there are over 8 billion people on this planet. Back then, fewer humans were alive than fit inside a single high school. One bad season, one especially hungry predator with a taste for the wrong campsite, and you would not exist. So what almost finished us off? The climate had turned brutal. Anthropologist Giorgio Manzi points to a curious gap in the fossil record right around this time, a silence in the bones that matches the genetic crash almost perfectly. But climate wasn't hunting anyone directly. Something else was. For nearly 2 million years before this crash, your ancestors were not always at the top of the food chain. They were prey. Big cats stalked the same watering holes early humans needed to survive. Leopards then and now drag prey into trees to cache it out of reach. Fossil evidence shows puncture marks on ancient hominin skulls that match, almost perfectly, the spacing of a leopard's canine teeth. In some regions, being killed by a large cat may have been a leading cause of death. Anthropologists Robert Sussman and Donna Hart studied this pressure for years and reached an uncomfortable conclusion. Early human evolution wasn't shaped primarily by our ancestors becoming great hunters. It was shaped by our ancestors becoming great survivors of being hunted. You can't outrun a leopard. You can't outmuscle a hyena pack. So instead of getting stronger, your ancestors got smarter about the threat. Early humans began sleeping in groups because a lone body in the dark is an easy meal, but a circle of alert eyes is a much harder target. They built fires because nearly every predator on Earth has an instinctive aversion to flame. They chose caves with narrow entrances, defensible from only one direction at a time. Every one of these choices sounds like common sense today. Back then, each one was the difference between a family line continuing or ending, and your body still remembers. Have you ever felt a prickling sensation on the back of your neck? A sense that you're being watched right before you turn and catch someone's eye? That reaction appears to be linked to peripheral vision and subconscious threat detection systems that evolved specifically to catch a predator's gaze before it's too late. You didn't learn this feeling. It came pre-installed. Consider your instinctive reaction to a dark hallway or a rustling bush at night. Something in you tenses before your conscious mind has even processed what you saw. That's a survival algorithm carved by hundreds of thousands of years of predators picking off the humans who didn't react fast enough. Even your preference for a seat facing the door has a name. Environmental psychologists call it prospect refuge theory. You feel safest when you can see danger coming and still have something solid protecting you from behind. Here's the twist that changes everything about how we should think of this era. The same pressure that almost erased your ancestors from history may be exactly what forged the traits that let them survive it. A population of only 1,280 individuals couldn't win through brute strength. They won through cooperation, fire, shelter, and the brilliant habit of staying alert even when nothing seemed wrong. The ones who survived weren't the strongest. They were the ones who never fully relaxed. That hypervigilance didn't disappear once the threat did. It stayed baked into your genome, waiting patiently inside you for a danger that, for most of us today, will never actually arrive. So the next time your pulse quickens walking to your car alone at night, or you flinch at a shadow moving where it shouldn't, understand what's happening. You are not overreacting. You are running software installed by a population so small it could fit in a single school gymnasium, a population that survived exactly because it refused to stop being afraid. You are afraid of the dark, not because of ghosts, because somewhere in your DNA, 1,280 people once looked into that same darkness, felt exactly what you're feeling right now, and made it through.